thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
That video is super powerful considering that you tapped into your fans to sort of talk about how they feel about the song and how they feel about you guys.
Our fans are, that's why we do it. You know, we do it because we love music and we love having fun with it, but our fans are our lifeline. They're, you know, the reason why we get to do what we do, and even seeing you guys here, and it was cool to have that be a part of the video and that be, you know, the preface of it, because that's what the song is about. And then, you know, when Aaron and I were coming up with some of the lyrics and stuff, we had our fans in mind. And, you know, we see a lot of ourselves in our fans. You know, we're fans of music in general. You know, we were backstage here just looking at all the different people and musicians that have been even here, and we were just like, wow, like we're in great company. It's cool. We're fans.
Do you guys still fanboy out when you get to go on tour with one of your favorite bands? You know, you were just on tour with Slipknot, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we did this summer. We were out with Manson and Slipknot, and then last year we were opening for Linkin Park. And so doing things like that is kind of like, it just makes it so much more fulfilling. You know, that I remember the first time I heard some of those records when I was 13 or 14, and now coming up on 28, and it's like, you know, I get to tour with those bands and become peers with those bands, and get to learn and grow from those guys.
Is it hard to become a peer with a band like that when they've had so much influence on you that, like, you know, you were 14, like their album is probably the album that got you to start playing the instrument or got you interested in that music? Is it hard not to get around them and be like, on this album, like, what were you guys thinking about? Or this lyric means so much to me?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, for us on Linkin Park, that was a huge thing. And with Slipknot, too, is, you know, trying not to fanboy out too hard. But you know what, both of those bands, all those bands, after a while, they kind of let you in and bring you into their world, and then you kind of, at least for me, there's always one day where I wake up and I go, whoa, like, life's pretty crazy now. And it always just kind of hits you like that.
Let's go back to that video. There's a story behind, I think, the inspiration for that video. This young girl that you guys played was the first person that you played the album for, right? Was she the inspiration behind that video? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we had a close friend and fan of ours. Her name was Cassie, and she passed away actually last month, and I was able to go actually fly out to her memorial service, then fly back to the tour. And she was such a special person to us because we had met her on the Linkin Park tour through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then met her multiple times after that, just on her own, having her come out to our shows and a festival, you know, that we got to play in, or Nashville or Memphis, some like country blues festival, and us and Rise Against were the only two like rock bands on it. It was great, but you know, we got to spend time with her different times like that, and the biggest thing was when we were in the studio, we found out that she only had a few months left, and the first thing I did is I called our manager and I was like, look, we have to get her out here. Like, I want her to hear the record. And so we flew her out, her and I and her family. We went to California Pizza Kitchen, and they had a whole setup for her, and we took her to the studio, met up with the guys, and we showed her the whole studio. I showed her where I recorded vocals, and showed her the Whitney Houston room where she recorded her vocals. I'm a huge Whitney Houston fan.
Oh, absolutely. What vocals did she record? Are we talking like Bodyguard era?
That whole record.
Really? Unbelievable. I Want to Dance with Somebody would make me freak out a little bit more, but Bodyguard is still pretty cool.
Dude, The Preacher's Wife, that's like my favorite movie. So yeah, she got to come and see that, and while we were there, our producer kind of even had the idea, and he's like, let's have her on the record. And so we actually recorded her hands clapping on the second track of the record called The Lie. And you know, we wanted her to be on our album forever, and she has a credit on our record now, and it's something that we wanted to do for her and for her family, and you know, it was something that was special to us because we know how much it meant to her. And she was such a light, man, and she was just full of God's love, and she really shined that out, and she was a blessing. She still is.
How does that change your perspective on what you create and what you do? Considering, because I'd imagine you see your fans all the time, you know you have fans, you love them, you love what you do, but when you meet someone that is touched by it that much and is also in that particular position, does it change the perspective or put a greater importance on what you feel like you do?
I definitely think it does. You know, it's in this lifestyle, it's really, really easy to get caught up in the schedule and caught up in the notoriety and caught up playing shows and doing press and things like this. It's really, it's kind of easy to forget sometimes why we started doing this and why, when we were younger, that we felt such a strong connection with music. I think our fans remind us daily of why we do this and why we keep doing this. Yeah.
We got the album cover right behind you here for Cold World. Do you want to talk about what this album cover means to you guys?
Yeah, it's actually an image from an artist, Roberto Custerle, and he's this Italian, an Italian artist, like a surreal artist. And when we were trying to find imagery for the album called Cold World, a lot of things, came to our mind while we were, trying to find the imagery for the album. And his images just really spoke to us, and it was really like a very like organic. We all saw it. It all really affected us. It makes you think. There's 3 people there in that image, and you don't really know what's going on, but your brain and your mind and the way that you interpret it, you can interpret it so many different ways. And I think with this album, it's so much more in depth than anything that we've ever written. And we really wanted the artwork to reflect that and to reflect the ideas behind that. And you draw your own conclusions. What does Cold World mean to you? What does that image mean to you? What do these songs mean to you? And that's kind of like, we wanted to provoke thought with this album. So in that sense, we used his artwork, and we felt like it spoke and said Cold World perfectly. And agree or disagree, but it's what you make.
For the sake of our conversation, I'll agree right now.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Why Cold World?
It's the first 2 words from the first song on the record. And for us, kind of like what Tino was saying about the album artwork, that phrase means different things to each different song. Sometimes we're talking about the outside world and our perspective on it, and sometimes we're talking about the world in ourselves that sometimes we can create, and you can kind of create a cold world in your own existence. So as much as a lot of the songs are up for interpretation, and so is the title means different things for each song. It correlates and relates.
You said that you went far more in depth in recording this album or in making this album. What exactly does that mean? What was it like for you guys in the studio? Did you set out that way when you started recording this album, or did you find as you were doing it that you were going to places you never went to before?
I think we kind of discovered that along the way. When you get into the studio and into a recording process like that, a lot of the songs kind of start to write themselves, and you kind of fall mercy to the song, and you have to do what's going to fit there. You can't change it the other way around. And a lot of the songs that made the record really spoke to us, and as we wrote them, they changed and shifted. Even I remember the day that we left the studio, we had to fly out that night. And that morning, I completely redid the whole entire song like a ghost that morning, because I wanted to make it different.
It's an evolving process. It's hard
Absolutely.
Yeah. You said that you're a big Whitney Houston fan.
Yeah.
I think, with a band like Of Mice and Men and the other bands that you tour with, a lot of people assume that you have very specific influences that they know of. Are there any influences on this album that people might not think of, like Whitney Houston or something like that maybe influenced this album?
Dido?
There's so many. I think.
You say Dido?
I mean, we all, our band, the way we write music is very collaborative. We wrote most of this record, the 5 of us sitting in a room, as opposed to previous records where we'd write them, demo them in laptops on tour in dressing rooms and things. This was actually like a process where we made it a point to do this all together. And I think, we all listen to so many different things, and each of our influences kind of shines through in their own different way. I think if we were to start listing them, we'd definitely need more time.
What would you say the craziest influence is, though, on the album that people wouldn't expect, maybe outside of Dido?
What do you think the craziest?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. We were in
Rihanna.
There you
Yeah,
go.
for him. Kevin Gates.
You know what I'm looking for.
Riri.
I love that new Rihanna album. Go girl.
We listen to all different kinds of music, and
Listen to that,
for
like-
us, our job is to be musicians. And when you are a musician, it's good to let in all different kinds of music and allow music to inspire you. And we don't really put boundaries on that. So we listen to all different kinds of things, from R&B to metal music to everything. And because we're musicians, we get to use that influence and put it into our music. And so we don't ever close any doors to any kind of music. So everything that we listen to it's all an influence. And it's taken us, a couple albums to really show that and put that into our music, but you know, that's how we're traveling through this life and through our career and stuff like that. So we feel proud of, you know, everything that we've listened to, and it comes from all, you know, everywhere. All different kinds of music.
What's the collaborative process like for you guys in the studio? You said that you would start with a demo before on a laptop and then maybe bring it to the others, but what about now that the five of you sit in a room and try to write a song together? Does it ever get contentious, or do you guys work sort of fluidly and easily together no matter what?
Most of the time it's fluid, and you know, we'll kind of sit down. I know that when we were doing a lot of the initial writing for this, we'd all just be kind of noodling, and then somebody would hear something, like we'd hear Phil play a guitar part and go, whoa, do that again. All right, let's build off that. I think, you know, we're not very contentious with each other as people, so when it comes to creating, it's all very, very fluid. And,
We
you know,
create fluid.
Yeah.
Gross?
Produce fluid.
Replaceable jazz.
Talk to me about the video for Pain, where you guys have this amazing contortionist in the video.
Pixie Lynott. Aaron kind of came up with the idea to have someone like a contortionist do something like that for the video, and she was in Game of Thrones and The Devil Inside, I believe, and lots of really cool horror movies like that. And you know, we were like, we want her, and she wanted to do it, and I think she killed the music video. You know, when the video came out, I said I want the video to make people kind of feel how I feel every day. Kind of just, I want them to kind of see like what it's like to kind of have to deal with something, you know, like this, and
Like
you know,
what? Like
with pain.
right.
And you know, I experience it physically, and other people experience it, you know, mentally and emotionally, spiritually. You know, there's many different ways. And just like Aaron said with the record, each song has a different interpretation of cold world and why and how and within you or the outside world. And you know, that's one of those songs that you can take it like that too. You know, everybody goes through pain, everybody goes through things like that in their life. And you know, it's especially with everything going on in the world right now, I think it's really important that people see other people and they see themselves, because we're one race. You know, we can have red, yellow, black, white, whatever religion you want to believe, whatever gender you want to be, whatever you want to do with your life, but we're still a human race, and we still have to see each other as that. And I have a line in there that says, if we commiserate, we can. It's talking about coming together and showing that everybody goes through that. And I think that that's something that, you know, it's really important to us, and especially with, you know, with what we actually deal with every day and doing what we do. And I think it's important that we share that message.
Was she like a sort of, you suffer from Marfan syndrome, correct? Right? Is it a syndrome? Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a genetic disorder. It's a connective tissue disorder. So that's why I'm all like long and lanky, and I break heels and ribs and surgeries. And
Was she kind of like a physical manifestation of that for you? And was the song Pain initially kind of about that?
oh, the song was very cathartic for me. I remember I did both of the verses kind of in one take and just really went with it. And you know, the video was, when you have Marfan syndrome or any kind of connective tissue disorder, like that's how you feel. Like my legs do that, shaking and waking up with Charlie horses, and your whole legs just pulsating, and your muscles are just grinding, and your bones feel like molten, and it hurts, and it sucks. But you know, I've met some of the strongest people that I've ever met in my life that have Marfans, that have different things that are ailing them, but they still get through it, and they still wake up every day, and they still keep going. And I respect and admire that to people that are going through worse than I am, and I want to be an example for people that are, you know, that see me and know that I'm going through worse than they are, and try to show that to them, where I've learned from people before me.
The music industry has, excuse me, has, you know, obviously changed in the last 10, 15 years since when you were 14, when I was 14, and we were buying CDs and consuming that entire album over and over and over again, because one reason we paid for it, and we were like, I spent $15 on this, and I'm going to listen to this album for 6 months until I can buy another album. I think the way a lot of people consume music now is very quickly and rapidly, and it's like, I like this song, I don't like this song, I don't care, I like it, I don't like it. Has that changed at all the way that you record music or think about music yourself? The way that, you know, the way that you might love to consume an album, it might be completely different from the generation that is actually consuming them now?
Short attention spans.
There's a long way. That was a long attention span way of asking a short attention span question.
You know, I think we still write and record music very much the way that we consume it, which is, I know that all of us, we buy records, start front to back. And so I think that hasn't really changed the way we do things, but we do try to be more aware. So when we start getting a little bit avant-garde with the way that the album flows or something, or the way certain tracks will go, we tend to keep that in mind, but we don't necessarily use that as a template.
Absolutely. You guys, does it affect the way you record or think about music?
Man, to think about, like, you know, to listen to music when, like exactly what you said, when we were younger, to be able to be a musician and actually create music, you know, we always wanted to make sure that for us, we always make it good for us, but at the same time, trying to make it good for everyone else. So it's kind of hard because you want to make sure that you're trying to please everybody on this list of, you know, like singles and all that stuff. But we try to just do, like we said, try to be real to ourselves and, you know, create music that we like the most, and hopefully our fans like it as well. So it definitely changed. I think not too much, like Aaron said, but at the same time, you know, it's in our minds when we create music.
And the way that you listen to music now might also be a little bit different than hopefully when you were 14.
Oh yeah,
I would think. You guys,
I don't have a Walkman anymore.
I kind of want one though. They're
I do
pretty
too.
cool looking. You guys are about to go on tour, right? You're on tour, or you're starting the tour tonight?
Tour started today.
Tour starts today.
Well, last night we
On
flew here.
tour.
We had a 6-hour delay at LAX.
What can people expect from this tour? How will it be different?
Music.
Great.
Says
There it
Alan.
is.
Let's turn it over to the audience for questions.
Thanks
Hello.
for bringing rock and roll to the stage. I love it. And more
Thank you.
important, yeah, seriously, and more important, thank you for partnering with an organization like Make-A-Wish. It's very important. I wish more people with power did do what you guys are
Yeah,
doing.
fuck yeah.
Seriously. Now, there's nothing more I love more than a good road story, and I know you guys have been all over. So what's the craziest thing you've seen during
my
your travels?
So one time we were walking into a Buffalo Wild Wings, and we were like gonna go watch a movie and stuff, and like we were having dinner first, and this dude just straight up started barking at us. It was insane. We were like, what is this guy doing? And he was like, bark and they move, and he's just like barking at us, and we're like, that's weird. Like,
Yeah, that was a wild night. We watched The Dark Knight Rises.
that was right when Dark Knight Rises came out. It was wild.
It was scary.
Rage. Oh yeah, Phil had to leave.
I was scared of Bane. Terrified.
There's
Bane's
too
terrifying.
much crazy stuff.
For the record, I was totally kidding when I said turn it over to the audience for questions. But now that we're there, let's keep going. Next question.
Hi guys, I wanted to know what made you guys come up with the name of your band? Does it have any relation to the book?
What book?
My
Just kidding.
Wait, there's a book? Imagine.
Wait, there's a book?
I thought it was a movie.
Yeah, I thought it was a movie first.
I thought it was a Broadway play.
Well, I like Steinbeck. Grapes of Wrath. I read A Mice and Men when I was in school. I really enjoyed it. And when I first started the group, it was kind of the American dream vibe. You know, it was going after what you want to do, going after that dream, that pursuit. And you know, that book just kind of reminded me of that. And then on the other spectrum of it, the quote, the best laid plans of mice and men, and that's our band to a T, because so much stuff, we have so much great that happens, and we're so blessed, but there's so many days when we just get so hosed for no reason, and it's like, well,
Best laid
that just
plans.
happens, like we're used to it, so it's cool, they kind of go hand in hand.
We kind of live our band name, which is kind of nice. Like it's we thought about it in the beginning, I feel like, and now through the years we've actually been able to like personify with our band, and very much so to the point where it's like it is such a big part of us, like the name and the story and everything about it. So it's like it's very cool. I don't think a lot of bands get to experience that with their band name.
Yeah, Tino just started tending rabbits in his home. He's so inspired by the book.
No pets.
Don't hurt the rabbit. Just be gentle.
No, don't hurt him.
I think we have time for one more question.
what song are you guys looking forward to playing tomorrow? Because I know you're playing the album in full, and you already did it in LA, but I mean, obviously LA and New York kind of have different vibes, so.
To answer your question you asked last and hers, we're going on tour this month. We're doing a bunch of CD release shows around America. We're playing the whole record from front to back. We have a couple festivals, and then we go to Europe to headline in October. And with the CD release shows, it was really cool playing in LA the night the record came out and playing the songs and playing the set and hearing the crowd sing the songs back. Like, it was unreal. I was like, these songs came out today. Like, they streamed, 3 or 4 days ago on Apple, and then now they're here and people are singing them, and it was so cool. Like, Pain went off. I felt like, I kept saying, I feel like I'm in the Wu-Tang Clan or something, because we're just, it was gnarly. It was just such a fun show and so much energy, and I think I love playing every song. It was so cool getting to vibe out and play our record how we wrote it, and like, once I did that, man, I just kind of like, I fell back in love with it all over again, and I'm stoked to be able to play it for everybody, and I'm stoked for everybody to hear it live, because that's what we wrote it to intend to do, and that's, it goes hard live, and it's fun, and we're really passionate about what we do, and we have a lot of heart, and I think that shows through, and that's my favorite part about it, is just being able to do it in general.
What prompted you guys to want to do a tour where you play the album front to back?
We seriously could not agree on what new songs we were going to play at all. Like, we were, we're 4 records in now, so when we're trying to make a, between 15 and 17 song set list, it's really easy to disagree with each other. So we couldn't really decide on which new songs we were going to play, so we just, we said, what if we did the whole thing? And everyone was kind of like, well, I don't know, people don't really do that. But, we thought it was a really good idea. We got into a rehearsal day one. We realized exactly how much, we bit off a lot. But, we wrote this album together, so to play it together was, it was really easy. It was easy to get back into it, so.
Yeah. We've never done it before either, too, so it was like, we're trying to do new things and challenge ourselves in ways that we've never played any of our albums front to back just like that. And so for us, with each album, we want to start to try and do new stuff and challenge ourselves in ways that we haven't in the past. And Cold World is an album that should be played front to back, and it should be listened to front to back, because it is, from start to finish, it is designed that way, I guess, the way that we wrote it. And
Against short attention spans, which is
exactly, it's not for
like
short
that.
attention spans at all. It's for a music listener that wants to like dive in and read the lyrics and look at the artwork and feel the music. And so for us to be able to translate that into a live setting, we're very much a live and a raw band like that. And so for us, it's, that was the challenge, was to get up on stage and play the album front to back. And there's no studio magic, there's no nothing. It's
rock and roll, baby.
Yeah, it's rock and roll, baby.
On that note, the album's out now. You guys are playing tonight, right, at Gramercy? Is it Gramercy?
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow, excuse me.
We have a signing tonight at Best Buy.
Signing tonight at Best
in
Buy.
Union something Square.
Go over
Times
there. It's up there, actually. It's right
Best
there.
Buy.
Best Buy. And tomorrow at Gramercy, right?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, guys, on Cold World. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks very much. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.
Love you guys. Thank you.